The significance of the MAFIA imagery actually is pretty much just inspired by Bryson and I's shared love of cinema. I mean, I've always been a gangster flick fan since I was, a young adult, early teen, whatever. I remember the first one I ever saw was Mobsters with Christian Slater and Patrick Dempsey, and just the pinstripe suits and the Tommy guns and everything. It just always resonated as cool with me. That's kind of where it came from. We just thought, if we're gonna wear suits to stand out in the heavy rock crowd, we might as well wear suits in a cool style, and so we went with the Mafia theme. I absolutely have a favorite song, and that's not even a hard question to answer. The Scarecrow by Tobias Sammet's Avantasia. That's a masterpiece. It also happens to feature my favorite vocalist, Jorn Land, on it. I'll never get tired of listening to it. Honestly, it's just wonderful. And I got to see it live twice now, so that's sweet. I do vaguely. I remember loosely that it was grade 10 guitar class, and we were given an assignment where we were to just try and write our own song with the lyrics and the melody or whatever. And so I wrote a song called Down the Hatch. It was a basic 12-bar blues song, just about, drinking your blues away. Despite the fact that at that age I didn't drink at all, just seemed like what a lot of these blues guys that I listened to, like George Thorogood and all that, that's what they wrote about, so that's what I wrote about. And that was my first song. Yeah, I have once actually. I was in high school. I'd been playing guitar for a couple of years then, and I'd made a pretty decent name for myself in the local music circuit as a good guitar player. I practiced a lot, and I was cutting solos while a lot of guys were still learning how to play chords, and I thought I was king shit. Honestly, I did. And so when I showed up to play in this band, this other guitar player was just so much better than I was at the time, and I remember being like, oh, okay. And I only played with them maybe once or twice before I just never got called back, and I pressed them for it, and eventually they said, hey, it's just not working out. And so I was pissed at the time, I really was. It was like, kick me out of a band, Jack Black, School of Rock style. Anyway, it just forced me to, check my ego at the door a little bit and go back and get better. And so in hindsight, it was a pretty good thing. I got a lot better because I practiced more, and it was just good. And the funny thing is, like, me and the guy that kicked me out actually ended up being in a band years later, and it worked out great. So, all good. In no particular order, the last 5 books I've read were The War of the Worlds and The Island of Dr. Moreau, both by H.G. Wells. Moby Dick by Herman Melville, classic. The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and I Am Ozzy Osbourne, as you might guess, Ozzy Osbourne's biography. All great reads. Okay, so for anybody who's from my hometown Coburg, growing up around the same time I did, maybe you guys remember that the Coburg Public Library used to be used as a venue for shows, and that's probably one of the weirdest places that I've ever played. We actually played a gig with Monster Truck there before they broke through and became, a world touring sensation. So I remember, I think the last, we did 2 shows there maybe, and then the last one we played was the last time they hosted shows there because so many of the kids were smuggling in alcohol. I mean, I know I still have Jägermeister stains on my amp from that show. I have so many stories from the Creekwater days, it's not even funny. So I'll give you one for today, but I'm sure in the future there will be more of these coming in. We were doing a head-to-head couple of shows at a tavern in Laveen. It was good pay. It was a bar gig, so we did 3 or 4 hour sets, covers, originals. And we were staying at a fishing cabin. They did a lot of ice fishing on Lake Nipissing in Laveen, and so we got put up in this cabin. And we did the shows, and it was great. But we noticed on the way up that something wasn't going well with the band, and so we realized when we were going to leave on the Sunday that there was no engine coolant left in the van, and it was leaking. And so we were looking around for mechanics, but of course we're in this small town that nothing is open. And we went to the bar or whatever for lunch, and the guy that was in there happened to be a local mechanic. He said, "Look, nothing's open around here. How far do you got to go?" And we told him it was about a 6-hour drive to get home, assuming we didn't hit any traffic or anything. And he told us, "Okay, well, you guys can probably make it as long as you just fill the coolant up with fill it up with water to keep your engine from overheating. Not recommended, but in a tight squeeze it'll do." And so, okay, that's what we're gonna do. And we got back to the cabin ready to load up and leave, and we realized we didn't have anything to put water in for such a trip except for all the empty beer bottles and liquor bottles from our debauchery over the week. So we filled them with water, and all the way home, every hour or so, when the engine started to get warm and we ran out of water, we stopped at the side of the highway and gave Vanny Glover, the name of our van, a little drink. And as you might imagine, anybody passing on the highway got quite the sight. Good times. My guitar setup is as simple as it gets. I take one of my many guitars and I plug it into a Marshall and I turn it on. That's it. My dad used to bring me home guitar magazines when I was, really interested in seeing what everybody else did, and they would show at the back of the issue a different guy's setup each week. And my favorite was always Angus Young's, and that's literally what it was. It was just a patch cable going into a Marshall, and I thought if he can sound as good as he does doing that, well, so can I. So, I get invited to these forums or Facebook groups all the time for gearheads that talking about the pedals and setups, and I usually just decline them. And it's not because I don't care out of respect or anything, but I just have nothing to contribute. I mean, most I've ever used live is an overdrive pedal to boost my leads, and sometimes I might experiment with a chorus pedal, but most of the time it's just straight plug and play. Oh man, there's a lot of artists that I would love to have seen in their prime. They were dead before I was born, or I just was too young. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Lynyrd Skynyrd, even Randy Rhoads with Ozzy in his prime. But overall, I'd have to say Thin Lizzy. I absolutely love Thin Lizzy, and I wish I could have seen Phil in it. Oh man, there are a lot of good musicians out there, and they're all good at their respective things and combinations. But if I had to just pick with me playing guitar, I would choose Jørn Lande, or Jorn as he's known as, on vocals. Absolutely think he's probably my favorite singer. The guy's voice just gets better with age. Tony Iommi as another guitar player. I know he's pretty much the only guy in most, in Sabbath and the bands and stuff. But the guy's a riff monster, and I would love to play alongside Tony Iommi. Marco Hietala of Nightwish fame, backing vocals and bass. That guy's a phenomenal musician, and I would love to share the stage with him. And on drums, I'd probably say Nico McBrain. Guy's a great drummer, and also he's just funny as hell to watch performing. So that's my band. Hey guys, hopefully by now you've had a chance to check out our debut single, Before the Devil Knows We're Dead, available on all major streaming platforms, and of course on our website, www.stonecoldcrows.com. And if you like the song and you like what we're doing here, just hit that little subscribe button if you're watching these videos on YouTube, the like page button if you're on Facebook, or follow on Instagram. And if you're listening to our music on a platform like Spotify, if the follow artist button, if you could hit that for us, that would be great. Everything is done via algorithm these days, and so it's really great for an independent artist like ourselves to get a little bit of traction when they track that kind of engagement. And don't forget, if you have any questions you want to ask us for these 10 questions videos, just drop us a line in the comments with your question, and we would love to be able to put one in the episode. So hopefully everything's going great for you guys. It's going great for us, so cheers. And remember, in a world where everybody's doing something the same, dare to be different and create cool shit.
Junkies!